Good morning, hello, and welcome to This Date in History, aka TDH. This show is about what happened to date throughout the annals of recorded history. Join us as we delve into yesteryear, not only for interesting and important happenings, but to possibly even answer questions you don't even know you have. The sources of this information come from the Smart Device application, Today in History, What Happened Today in History, Historical Calendar, and on the website onthisday.com. For links to these sources, the music in the background, and anything else potentially interesting, including but not limited to all things on the Coalition, please check the underbar of the description below. Anyway, I am Alexander, and you are you, viewer. Today is, Friday's Day, aka Friday, September 22nd, 2023. So, let's jump into the history today, shall we? Starting us off in the year 66, Emperor Nero created the Legion I Italica. Alright, has to be a Roman legion. Moving on up to 530, Boniface II began his reign as Catholic Pope, and while that was going on, Dioscorus began his reign as Catholic Anti-Pope. And this all happened, I believe, after this event here. St. Felix IV's reign as Catholic Pope ended. I don't know why this source is so bad at having things chronologically, correct as far as on the same date. But, just gonna have to roll with it. Moving on up to 1499, Switzerland became an independent state. Alright, Switzerland, let's give you a cheer. Independence. Moving on up to 1504, we have the Treaty of Blois was signed between Philip of Burgundy, Holy Roman Emperor Maximilian I, and French King Louis the 12th. Okay, three people. What is going on? This sounds pretty important. Treaty of Blois. It was based on the terms of the treaty. France and England relinquished their historic rivalry and established an alliance against Spain. Ooh, well, look at that. I'm going to have to add this in the underbar of the description below. For anybody who would like to read further, on this particular subject matter, these links will be in the underbar of the description below, as I just said, after the live stream, of course, though. Moving on up to 1528, we have remaining crew of Spanish Narvaez expedition departed Florida in 5 crewed boats destined for Texas by sailing along coast. A course disrupted by storms that carried them out to the open Gulf of Mexico waters. Boats landed on Barrier Islands in early November. Well, let's see how off course they were. Barrier Islands. Where are those? Give me a map. So, there we go. No. Barrier Islands, Gulf of Mexico. Is this it? Isla Perez? Why is it not letting me say? Alright, well, Barrier Islands. Let's see here. Alright. Sorry about that. Getting some sneeze attacks here. 1 second. Anyway, I guess it's just not the name of a specific set of islands. They're just some barrier islands, I guess. So, anyway, moving on up, 1598, playwright and poet Ben Jonson was arrested and jailed for manslaughter as a result of a duel where he killed actor Gabriel Spencer. Wow. I mean, you can still do duels, but doesn't mean you won't get arrested and stuff later on. But, you can, still hold up your honor. 1656, an all-female jury heard the case of Judith Catchpole, accused of killing her child. They acquitted her in Paxton County, Maryland. Wow, that's okay, that's a little prejudice right there. All-female jury. Like, of course they're going to acquit her. Like, people always look over themselves. So, 1665, Molivier's comedic play Les Amours Médiciens premiered for King Louis XIV at Versailles. And yeah, he was, the Sun King of France. He is the longest living European monarch of all time. Number 2 was, our late, great Queen Elizabeth II, who passed away last year or something. Anyway, we're going to have some Salem witch trials stuff here. 1692, the last people were hanged for witchcraft, 8 to be specific in the U.S. In total, 19 were hanged overall, with 6 other deaths during the Salem witch trials. Wow. She can do math. She's a witch. And see, some of the witch trial stuff made no sense. If if you threw somebody into a thing of water, like what they did is they tied women up and they threw them into like a pond or whatever, and if she didn't drown, then she's a witch. If she did, then she's not a witch. Well, then how does it help if she's not a witch? Like, you just killed somebody, you know? That should be murder. I wonder, you know, if anybody out there knows a little bit more about the witch trials, if those people who killed proven innocent people, if they then in turn got accused of murder, you know? Like, or how did all that work? Anyway, moving on up to 1699, people of Rotterdam striked over the high cost of butter. Yeah, well, everybody needs some butter. 1711, French troops occupied Rio de Janeiro. Huh. Alright. 1735, Robert Walpole became the first British Prime Minister. He was actually the first Lord of the Treasury to live at 10 Downing Street. Alright. Some Scottish history here, eh? 1745, Bonnie Prince Charlie's army returned to Edinburgh. Alright. 1756, Nassau Hall opened at Princeton University. Okay. And then we have the coronation of King George III and Queen Charlotte of the United Kingdom occurred on this date, September 22nd, 1761. And yeah, he was the King of England when we had our little revolution. So, and 1772, the first partition of Poland was ratified by Austria, Prussia, and Russia. All right, Poland, I believe, is starting to become a thing. 1773, Benjamin Franklin published a hoax letter, quote, an edict by the King of Prussia, end quote, in the Public Advertiser, criticizing Britain's colonial policies in the American colonies. Yeah. So, gotta do a little bit of trolling before some revolution. In 1784, Russian trappers established a colony on Kodak Island, Alaska, or Kodiak Island. Alright. 1788, Lawsonville, Ohio, which is now Cincinnati, was founded by land speculators Matthias Denman and Colonel Robert Patterson and surveyor John Filson, the first settlers to arrive in December. Or the first settlers would arrive in December. Alright, so happy birthday, Cincinnati! 1789, U.S. Congress passed an act requiring the first Postmaster General to report to the President through the Secretary of the Treasury. Okay. 1792, the French First Republic was formed by the National Convention, stripping the French king of his powers. Yep. And look at this guy, Georges Danton. His wig always looks like it's trying to escape. Moving on up, what else do we got here? We got that one. 1792. Where are you? Where to go? Whoa, I'm way too ahead. Okay. We have day one of the short-loved French Revolution calendar, or French Republican calendar. This was declared in 1793 and abandoned later in 1806. So it lasted for about 13 years. You know, nice try for a calendar. We also have 1711, French troops occupied Rio de Janeiro. We got that. Robert Walpole became... No, whoa, I'm way... Okay, what happened here? Did I scroll up accidentally or something? Like, did I... Hold on a second. 1761. Okay, that was... Is there... Oh, I did. It does repeat. Okay. So, hold on a second. 1792. Okay, that explains things. Hopefully I didn't screw up too bad. Moving on up to 1817, John Quincy Adams became U.S. Secretary of State. Alright. 1832, during the HMS Beagle voyage, Charles Darwin discovered a large number of fossils at Punta Alta in Argentina. 1851, the city of Des Moines, Iowa was incorporated as Fort Des Moines. Alright, Des Moines, Iowa. Isn't that where, like, American Pickers, they're from? I think, are they from Iowa? I don't know. I know they've been to Iowa, at least. I swear they're based on Iowa. Anyway, 1861 as well, federal troops shot and killed 12 Navajo men, women, and children, and wounded 40 more following a dispute over a friendly horse race during monthly ration day at Fort Fauntleroy in Bear Springs, territory of New Mexico. Not good. Yikes. So, like, it was supposed to be just all fun and games, and then somebody took it a little too seriously, and then we killed people. Wow. 1862, U.S. President Abraham Lincoln issued preliminary Emancipation Proclamation threatening to free all enslaved people in the rebel southern states if those states fail to rejoin the Union by January 1st, 1863. And, yeah, plot twist, that doesn't happen. Well, at least the separatists don't come back. We're still heavy in the war by 1863. I think it ended in 65 at least. Anyway, 1866, we have the War of the Triple Alliance. A decisive battle of Curupayte resulted in Paraguayan victory and heavy loss for Argentinian and Brazilian forces. Look at this guy with his Abraham Lincoln looking. I swear, if you flip his head upside down, like it's one of those like other faces. Like his beard is so abnormally like bushy, thick, you know, like a hedge. It looks like a tire made of hedge or something. I don't know. Anyway, 1868, race riots in New Orleans, Louisiana. And there's going to be another one of those later on here. 1869, Richard Wagner's opera Das Rheingold, the first piece of his Ring cycle, premiered in Munich, Germany. Moving on up to 1877, we have Rudolf Virchow delivered an anti-Darwinian speech to the Congress of German Naturalists and Physicians in Munich, where he spoke against the teaching of the theory of evolution in schools. Wow. Yeah, that was a fight back in the day. Moving on up to 1885, Lord Randolph Churchill made a speech in Ulster in opposition to Home Rule, e.g., quote, Ulster will fight and Ulster will be right, end quote. Alright. We also have 1890, first known ascent of Mount Olympus, Washington, by an expedition led by Joseph P. O'Neill. Oh, that's not Mount Olympus in Greece. I thought we were finally reaching the gods. 1896, Queen Victoria surpassed her grandfather, King George III, as the then longest reigning monarch in British history, which, you know, has since been surpassed by, once again, Elizabeth II. But that's only Britain. You know, as far as all of European, that's King Louis XIV, of course. Moving on up to 1905, finally in the 1900s, race riot in Atlanta, Georgia, killed 10 black people and 2 whites. And actually, it wasn't. Actually, we might still have a race riot article later on with New Orleans, but we have another one here in Atlanta as well. But before that, 1906, in New Zealand, domestic workers called for a 68-hour working week. All right. And once again, here we go, 1906 as well, the race riot in Atlanta, Georgia, killed 21. Can we stop having race riots, please? Okay? Come on. It's ridiculous. 2 years later, 1908, Bulgaria declared independence from the Ottoman Empire, which is now Turkey. Yep. 1910, Saskatchewan Rugby Football Union formed with an initial 9-team competition. Yep. The Duke of York Cinema opened in Brighton. It is still operating today as the oldest continuing operating cinema in Britain. Wow. So that is 113 years old. Yeah, on this date, actually. Happy birthday. 113. Hold on. Let me give you a cheer. Alright. Moving on up, what else do we got here? 1911, Boston, hold on a second, Boston, sorry, I have to say it that way, I'm under contractual obligation. Rustlers future Baseball Hall of Fame pitcher Cy Young defeated the Pittsburgh Pirates 1-0 at Forbes Field for his final career victory, number 511. Good old Cy Young. Then, 1 year later, we had the Philadelphia second baseman Eddie Collins became the only player in Major League Baseball history to steal 6 bases in one game for a second time as the A's defeated the St. Louis Browns 8-2. Woo! Man, Collins. 1913, a coal mine explosion killed 263 people at Dawson, New Mexico. That's sad. While that was going on, we have the first batch of Indian passive resistors consisting of 12 men and 4 women, including Mrs. Kasturba Gandhi, are arrested at Volkhurst and imprisoned in Pietermaritzburg, South Africa. Apartheid stuff, I believe. Or probably prior to... When was apartheid a thing? When was apartheid? It's a lot earlier than one would expect. Oh, 1948. Okay, so this is way before apartheid. Alright, moving on up, we have 1914. First, one German submarine sunk 3 British ironclads, causing the deaths of 1,459 people. Never underestimate the power of a submarine. And I have a ping here. What is this? Anyway, what do we got here? 1914, Louis Botha, Premier of the Union of South Africa, assumed command of the armed forces and after having dismissed General Beyers because of his resistance to aiding British in the war against Germany. Oh, all right. And was this was he an ancestor to P.W. Botha? Louis Botha is Louis Botha related to P.W. Botha? Descendants of Ferdinandus Apple. Okay, Louis Botha, blah, 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 blah. Okay, P.W. Botha, yes. Okay, he is. Okay, interesting. Well, here's the Botha Wikipedia, so I'm going to add this in the underbar description post-show, of course. Anyway, we got to move on up here. What else do we have here? 1915, Boston Red Sox asked the Boston Braves for the use of Braves Field with a 10,000 plus capacity for Baseball World Series against the Philadelphia Phillies. Yep. 1915 as well, Southern Methodist University in Dallas, Texas held their first class. Cool. And while that was happening, Xavier University, the first black Catholic college in the U.S., opened in NOLA. Something Louisiana. I don't know. 1919, starting from now until January 20th, I believe in next year, we have a steel strike in the U.S. Wow, that took a while. 1 year later, Chicago grand jury convened to investigate charges that 8 White Sox players conspired to fix the 1919 World Series. Yeah, that was a thing. 1 more year later, 1921, Music Box Theater opened at 239 West 45th Street, New York City, built by theatrical producer Sam H. Harris for Irving Berlin's musical review, The Music Box, written specifically for the venue. Alright. While that was happening, the League of Nations, of course the predecessor to the United Nations, accepted the membership of independent Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania, the Baltic states. Moving on up to 1922, U.S. Congress passed a Cable Act under which a U.S. Woman who marries an alien will not lose their citizenship. Neither will a woman marrying a U.S. automatically become a citizen. All right, yeah, no, you got to take your test and everything. Could you imagine though, marrying somebody who's not of this country and suddenly losing your citizenship? That is whoa. Moving on up to 1927, the long count. In a famous boxing rematch, Gene Tooney defeated Jack Dempsey by 10-round unanimous decision at Soldiers Field, Chicago, to retain world heavyweight title. Crowd of 104,943 people. Gate $2,858,660. I guess that's how much they made with admission tickets and whatnot. 1931, coalition government formed in New Zealand to combat the Depression. Their lack of success will lead to the election of the first Labour government in 1935. Huh. Alright, well before we get to 1935, we have a 1934 here. An explosion took place at Gresford Colliery in Wales, leading to the deaths of 266 miners and rescuers. And a colliery is a field of coal mines. But let's look at a colliery. A coal mine and the buildings and equipment associated with it. Yeah, so just a whole thing. What it's actually just called. We also have 1935. The Boston Braves lost a National League record 110th game on year en route to 115. Wow. So 5 more games to lose. That sucks. 2 years later, 1937, this date is celebrated as the first International Hobbit Day and the birthdays of Bilbo and Frodo Baggins. All right. Toss the ring into the Mount Doom. We also have a forest fire killed 14 and injured 50 in Cody, Wyoming. Oh, yikes. 1943, British dwarf submarines attacked German battleship Tirpitz. So there's the Tirpitz and the Bismarck. They were both of the same class. Tirpitz actually, I believe, came first. The Bismarck is more known, but yeah. We also have in 1937 1943 as well. Destroyer HMS Itchen torpedoed and sunk. Was torpedoed and sunk. Okay. 1944, President Jose P. Laurel declared the Philippines under martial law in 1944 through Proclamation Number 29. All right. And 2 years later, Canadian woman Evelyn Dick charged with butchering her husband in Hamilton, Ontario. Yikes. 4 years later, 1950, Omar Bradley was promoted to rank of 5-star general in the United States Army. Bradley. You know, he was friends with Patton, and he might have been one of the conspirators to end Patton. Like, yikes. You know, I don't know what to think of that man. So, we also have 1954, Brooklyn Dodger pitcher Carl Spooner struck out 15 New York Giants in his first MLB game. Whoa. That should be highlighted. That's pretty big right there. I'm not, much of a fan of sports, but you know what? You got to give credit where credit is due, and that's pretty cool. 1955, between now and the 28th, so for over the next 6 days, Hurricane Janet will go on to kill 500 people in the Caribbean. That sucks. 1955 as well, commercial television began in the UK with the launch of ITV. Soon aired the first advertisement on United Kingdom television for Gibbs SR toothpaste. Huh, of all the things to be the first thing to advertise in Britain would be toothpaste. We all know the stereotypes. I mean, I learned of them through Austin Powers. So, 1957, Western comedy series Maverick appeared on ABC television starring James Gardner. Alright. 1 year later, 1958, U.S. nuclear submarine USS Skate remained 31 days under the pole. This is a record. I'm pretty sure that it has been, vastly defeated by now. 2 years later, 1960, Mali, formerly French Sudan, declared independence from France. All right, let's give them a cheer. Independence cheer. Independence cheer. What else do we got here? 1961, Antonio Albertondo, Argentina, completed his first double-crossing swim of the English Channel in 43 hours, 10 minutes, and 42 at the age of 42. Wow. Wow. The endurance on that man. That's incredible. 1965, India and Pakistan ceasefire went into effect, ending the Indo-Pakistani War. Good. Good. Wars are ridiculous. And I'm not just talking about you look back at the past and you realize how pointless and meaningless a war was. No, war today and the future war, every war is completely and totally unnecessary. Because, like what happens? Talks break down, and we just kill each other for a while, and then we eventually just, as that one scene of Doctor Who, one of my absolute favorite television scenes of all time, sit down and talk. That we inevitably do that anyway. Why are we killing each other? What's the point? What's the point? It's ridiculous. Anyway, moving on up, 1966, only 413 people showed up at the Yankee Stadium game. That's not good. Wonder what happened there. While that was going on, the Orioles defeated the A's 6-1 to clinch their first American League pennant. All right. We also have Surveyor 2 crashed on the moon, and all contact with it was lost. That's sad. Moving on up to 1967, the Phillies released pitcher Dallas Green, who would later become their future manager. All right. 1968, ceremony to mark relocation of ancient Egyptian Abu Simbel temples honoring Ramses II after rebuilt 200 meters inland away from the Aswan Dam. Yeah, they actually moved those. Otherwise, they'd be underwater by now. They put a dam up, and they were really close to the edge of the River Nile. And, yeah. We also have Iraq adopted its constitution in 1968. All right. 1969, San Francisco Giant Willie Mays became second player to hit 600 home runs. All right. 1 year later, U.S. President Richard Nixon requested 1,000 new FBI agents for college campuses. Why? Why are we putting federal agents on college campuses? What? That's weird. I mean, I'm not too shocked that he, of all people, would do something like that. He was a monster. Opening up trade with China. What do you think was going to happen? 1971, OPEC directed members to negotiate price increases to offset the devaluation of the U.S. dollar. 1973, Henry Kissinger was sworn in as the U.S.'s first Jewish Secretary of State, succeeded William Rogers. I don't know why his religion has any significance, but whatever. I mean, some things can be said. 1973, Ryder Cup Golf at Murrayfield. U.S. defeated Great Britain and Ireland 19-13. First time Ireland included in team name. Oh, all right. Moving on up to 1975. This is the second assassination attempt on U.S. President Gerald Ford by Sarah Jane Moore failed in San Francisco. So is this the second time that she herself tried to kill him? Or is this just the second time that he almost got killed? Like, if anybody knows more about that, please let me know in the comment section. And speaking of comments, do I have any live chats going on here? It does not look like it. Nope. Moving on up, we had 1975 as well. World Football League folds. All right. 1 year later, the TV drama Charlie's Angels, starring Farrah Fawcett, Kate Jackson, Jacqueline Smith, and John Forsythe debuted. All right. We have a lot of debuts today. Actually, it appears to be the debut day. 1977, Minnesota twin Bert Bellativen no-hit California Angels 9-0. All right. West Germany Red Army faction terrorists killed policemen in Utrecht. That's not cool. 1981, Sandra Day O'Connor appointed to U.S. Supreme Court. And she was the first woman Supreme Court justice. Yep. 1982, sitcom, actually, hold on a second. Yeah, 1982, San Francisco's cable cars made a final run before closing down for 20 months. Must be maintenance and whatnot. But then we have TV sitcom Family Ties, starring Michael J. Fox, premiered on NBC. 1983, NASA launched Galaxy B. What was Galaxy B? Some kind of satellite or something? Let's look that up here really quick. Galaxy B, 83. 1983. Delta 176 satellite. Why is this eBay? What the hell? Huh. Okay, well, somebody's selling like a letter on eBay for $3 about Galaxy B. Okay, there's two of them. Anyway, 1983 as well, the Everly Brothers reunited after 10 years apart in concert at the Royal Albert Hall, London. Man, Phil looks so angry. Why are you so angry, man? 1985, Billy Martin's right arm was broken by pitcher Ed Whiteson. That's not nice. 1985 as well, we have the first Farm Aid benefit concert in Champaign, Illinois, organized by Willie Nelson, Neil Young, and John Mellencamp. Performers included Bob Dylan, Tom Petty, Billy Joel, B.B. King, Hoyt Axton, Joni Mitchell, Ricky Lee Jones, and Emmylou Harris. B.B. King, huh? Cool. Let me look him up here really quick. B.B. King, yeah, that guy. What else do we have? French Prime Minister Laurent Fabius appeared on TV to confess agents of the DGSE sank this boat, the Rainbow Warrior. They acted on orders. So yeah, there's a whole thing about the Rainbow Warrior. There's some kind of like environmentalists or whatever. They're protesting, and then somebody set off a bomb on their ship or something crazy. But they were way too close to some kind of nuclear or something. So they were being obnoxious. Oh, I don't know. You know how these guys are, freaking gluing their hands to the road and throwing tomato sauce on priceless pieces of art. Yeah, they don't know how to get people on their side. They're just acting up in tantrum because they're children. 1985, St. Louis Cardinals set an unusual streak record by winning 9 of 10 games, each pitched by a different man. That was a weird voice crack. I've been talking for almost a half hour straight without drinking water. That. So let's see here if my voice doesn't break anymore. Oh God, I sound like that teenage kid from The Simpsons. Anyway, 1985, the Plaza Accord was signed in New York City. All right. 1986, 35 countries signed disarmament accord in Stockholm, Sweden. The Plaza Accord. Hold on a second. Let me look that up here. I wanted to look that up yesterday, actually. Plaza Accord. September 22nd. Yep. All right. Let me scroll. Okay. It was at the Plaza Hotel in New York City between France, West Germany, Japan, the United Kingdom, and the United States. Whoa, this is important. To depreciate the U.S. dollar in relation to the French franc, the German Deutschmark, the Japanese yen, and the British pound sterling by intervening in currency markets. Huh. All right, so this was an economic move. So let me add this into the underbar. God damn it. Down. All right. Let's see here. Move on up to 1986. The LA Dodger Fernando Valenzuela is the first Mexican to win 20 games. Nice. That was 85, right? There's a pic. There he is. Cool, cool. 1987, Boston Red Sox Wade Boggs tied American League record of 200 hits for 5 straight seasons. I almost said 1,000, but I stopped there. I had 200 hits. We also have 1987, NFL players went on strike for 24 days. This is the second regular season strike. While that was happening, U.S. TV series Full House, starring Bob Saget and John Stamos, debuted. I told you, we still have more debuts, I believe, coming up here. 1988, Canada began production of a $5 silver maple leaf bullion coin. Cool. 1988 as well, South Korean coaches attacked New Zealand referee after disputing his decision. Olympic Korean boxer staged a 67-minute sit-in. Alright. Soviet gymnast Vladimir Artemov won individual all-around gold medal at the Seoul Olympics. Follows his team's all-around victory, won 4 golds for the games. Nice. 1989, MLB St. Louis Cardinals outfielder Leon Durham suspended for 60 days due to drugs. And here we go, another one. 1989, the TV drama Baywatch, aka Slow Motion Boob Stare-Off, starring David Hasselhoff and Pamela Anderson, debuted on NBC. 1990, Andrew Dodson stole his 300th base and is only player other than Willie Mays to have 300 home runs, 300 stealers, and 2,000 hits. Wow. While that was going on, Saudi Arabia expelled many Jordanian and Yemeni envoys. Wonder what's going on with that. 1991, ABN and AMRO Dutch banks merged. Okay. California University made the Dead Sea Scrolls public. Yeah. I don't know why they were, when they were discovered, they came over to, like, UCLA or whatever. Like, but, yeah. What else do we got here? 1991, Miami Dolphins coach Don Shula recorded his 300th career NFL victory. Alright. 1991 as well, New York MTA yanks 600 ads for Dr. Tush, Dr. Jeffrey Lavagine. Dr. Tush. Who is Dr. Tush? Let's look this up here really quick. Dr. Tush. Hold on, let me just look up the entire article real quick, because this is interesting. Okay, this is just getting me on this day. Alright. Well, if anybody can go down that rabbit hole, that'd be fantastic. I'm not getting anything. We gotta move on up here to 1992. Heavy storm in South France caused the deaths of 34 people. Whoa. 1933, a Transair Georgian airliner, Airlines 154, was shot down by a missile in Sukhumi, Georgia. And that's the country in Eastern Europe and whatnot. So, wonder what was going on with that. While that was happening, let's see here, 1993 as well, Supreme Soviet dismissed President Boris Yeltsin. Alright. We also have Texas Ranger player Nolan Ryan at 46 pitched his last game. Wow. Nolan Ryan, one of the greats. He's a legend. So, 1993, Ukrainian Prime Minister Leonid Kuchma resigned due to the slow pace of reform. Ukraine, how topical today. 1994, Friends, TV sitcom created by David Crane and Marta Kaufman, debuted on NBC, starring Jennifer Aniston, Courtney Cox, Lisa Kudrow, Matt LeBlanc, Matthew Perry, and David Schwimmer. And David Schwimmer is the guy who went on to be like Lieutenant Sobel or something. Yeah. So, what else do we got here? 1995, E-3B AWACS crashed outside of Alamorf AFB Air Force Base, Alaska, after multiple bird strikes to 2 of the 4 engines soon after takeoff. All 24 on board were killed. Yeah, birds are a serious problem for aircraft. They actually, I saw this video a while ago where they actually have hawk people, like the guy was with the big old glove, and they have the hawks. They have them fly around and keep all the other birds away and whatnot. So, 1997, Ben Thala massacre in Algeria. Over 200 villagers were killed. That's not good. While that was going on, Elton John released Candle in the Wind 1997, a tribute to Diana, Princess of Wales in the U.S. She was so obviously killed. She was so obviously assassinated. So, 1999, The West Wing, created by Alan Sorkin and starring Martin Sheen, Rob Lowe, and Richard Schiff, debuted on NBC. Yep. I told you there are a lot of. Oh, we have at least two more here. 2003, David Hepman Adams became the first person to cross the Atlantic Ocean in an open-air wicker basket hot air balloon. So that's pretty nuts right there. 2003 as well, the TV sitcom 2.5 Men premiered, starring Charlie Sheen and John Cryer, created by Chuck Lorre and Lee Armstrong. Dun 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 dun. That a great show. Unfortunately, Charlie Sheen had to be a total idiot. Yeah. Then 2004, Lost, created by J.J. Abrams and starring Matthew Fox and Evangeline Lilly, debuted on ABC in the U.S. Yeah, good old Lost. That, like the title suggests, you watch that and you'll be lost. We also have in 2004, San Francisco Giants outfielder Barry Bonds was intentionally walked 4 times in a 9-inning game. This is a Major League Baseball record for the second time. The first one was on 1st of May 2004. Moving on up to 2004 as well. Teen noir series Veronica Mars, created by Rob Thomas and starring Christian Bale, premiered on UPN in the U.S. All right. Yep, another premiere. What's going on with the premieres today? Like, oh god, there's another one coming up. 2006, a German maglev train crash, killing 23. 2006, Hezbollah claimed divine victory over Israel in a massive demonstration in Beirut. Isn't there like a short Russian guy named Hezbollah or something? I don't know. 2006, the F-14 Tomcat retired from the U.S. Navy. All right. 2009, crime drama NCIS L.A. Starring Chris O'Donnell, LL Cool J, and Daniela Rua, premiered on CBS. All right. Yep. There you go. We also have 2012, 7 pedestrians were killed by a drunk driver who hit a bus stop at 200 kilometers an hour in Moscow. Jeez. Easy with the vodka there, Yuri. 2012 as well, Farm Aid held in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Performers included Willie Nelson, John Mellencamp, Neil Young, Dave Matthews, Kenny Chesney, Jack Johnson, Grace Potter, and the Nocturnals, and Dale Watson and Peggy Young. Good old Kenny Chesney. Learned about them from Balloon Shop. 2013 as well, 78 people were killed in a church suicide bombing in Peshawar, Pakistan. Yikes. And in 2013, Angela Merkel and the Christian Democrats won a third term with their best results since 1990 in German federal elections. Merkel, you piece of work. 2014, NASA's MAVEN space probe successfully arrived in orbit over Mars. Cool. 1 year after that, 2015, Chinese President Xi Jinping arrived in Seattle to start his first state visit to the U.S. Wow, he was here? Whoa. Huh. 2015, Palangkaraya in Indonesian Borneo recorded the highest air pollutant index (API) value ever recorded of 1,986 due to haze caused by forest fires deliberately lit to clear land for palm oil plantations. Whoa. Why would you light a forest on fire? Just chop the trees down. Use the lumber. Come on. Dig out the stumps. I know it's a little bit of extra work, but it's so much better. 2015 as well, Volkswagen admitted that 11 million cars had been wrongly programmed to appear to emit lesser emissions than they are. Ha! Volkswagen, of course. The car of the hippies. It's so fitting that that hippies drove a car developed by Adolf Hitler. So, 2018, Farm Aid held in Hartford, Connecticut. Performers included Willie Nelson, John Mellencamp, Neil Young, Dave Matthews, Chris Stapleton, Casey Musgraves, Sergil Simpson, Nathaniel Ratcliffe, and the Night Sweats, and Margot Price. All right. And in 2018 as well, 4 gunmen opened fire on Revolutionary Guard soldiers at a parade in Avaz, Iran, killing 25, including civilians. That's not cool. 2018, singer Rihanna was appointed as an ambassador for Barbados. That's interesting. Howdy Modi in 2019, U.S. President Donald Trump held a mass rally for Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Houston, Texas. All right, cool. 2019, 2020, actually no, 2019. Where is it? Where'd it go? It was here. Oh, here it is. Okay. U.S. President Donald Trump admitted he spoke to Ukrainian President about Joe Biden's son after news of a U.S. intelligence officer made an official complaint about the call. Okay, I don't know why this is even on here, why it's highlighted. Like, there's some kind of something they're trying to push this source as being leftist, so yeah. Anyway, 2020, Prime Minister Boris Johnson announced that the UK has reached a perilous turning point in the pandemic, and he announces new restrictions. Yeah, he goes on to resign because he was forcing people to lock down and a lot of stuff, and then he had a party in his backyard, you know, and then he gave back what he took away, and everybody ate it up like a bunch of lemmings, you know. Should have gotten them out of there by force immediately. So, 2020, President Xi Jinping of China pledged at the UN that the country will adopt stronger climate targets, including becoming carbon neutral by 2060. China being carbon neutral? Yeah, sure, okay. Yeah, keep thinking that. 2021, the World Health Organization warned urgent action is needed on air pollution, is on par with smoking and a poor diet, causing 7 million premature deaths a year. Okay? That's a lie. So, the World Health Organization proven to just be, like, just a garbage. They don't stand for what they say. 2022, Catholics are at 45%, outnumber Protestants at 43.48%. In Northern Ireland for the first time, according to the results of 2021 census. Alright. And that shall conclude the show. Once again, please check the underbar of the description for any links you may be interested in, including but not limited to all things Comedy Coalition. Please check out our link tree down there. Has links to our video sharing sites, our social medias, our affiliates, all that stuff. For your dose of past fence daily, we stream every day at 11 in the morning Pacific time, which is 12 Mountain, 1 Central, and 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, respectively. For all of you and all of us, I am Xander, and you are you. Until you catch us tomorrow, or if you're interested in some notable events, weather, and sports, some news, we have that coming up at 3 p.m. Pacific Time. Anyway, until you catch us again, whenever that is, wherever that is, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Toodles!